Are you there?
Yeah, lost you for a second. How are you doing?
Good. As long as you're here, I'm okay.
I'm here. I don't know what happened. That was kind of odd. Oh well,
Um,
these things happen, right? Live radio.
right. Well,
Tonight.
welcome. Tonight, you're going to be talking and sharing with us about natural skin and health care from the inside out.
Yes, beauty from the inside out. We're going to talk about having beautiful skin and what that means. The world has kind of an idea of what beauty is, and it's not at all what the Father's idea of what beauty is. He looks at the heart. But I do believe that it's important that we have healthy skin and healthy hair, and the health of our bodies kind of reflect. The skin is like kind of a reflection of what's going on inside. So, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about. I first kind of want to bring up nutrition because I really think that is the most important thing when it comes to healthy skin and hair care. That I have work at an herb shop, and I have a lot of young ladies and older ladies coming in, and they want to fix what's wrong with their skin and with their hair, but they don't really think about you know what they're putting in their bodies and how that might be contributing. They just want to put something on it to make it either, mostly to look better, or just to get better. But really, truly, it's about your health and what's going inside that's going to make the biggest difference. So that's kind of what I'd like to first focus on tonight.
Good. Well, we're supposed to be beautiful from the inside out and not just cover it all up. So go for it.
That's right. And makeup is kind of a Babylonian thing anyway. It's kind of covering who you really are. So, you know, um, that's I just see that as a real issue for women that they just feel like they have to cover themselves because they have skin issues, and that's sad. I wanted to talk about vitamins because I think that vitamin deficiency in and of itself is the culprit a lot of times, particularly when women have eruptions or acne or they're premature aging. A lot of times it's deficiency in certain vitamins. And vitamin A, it comes to mind, is probably one of the most important vitamins to make sure that you're getting enough of. It's protective to the immune system, but there's also evidence that it protects you from cancer by suppressing carcinogenic processes on your skin. Um, and vitamin C, that's another important one. Anything, having to do with your immune system, usually will affect your skin. That's what acne is, basically an infection. Vitamin E is also very, very important, not only for your skin, but for your hormonal health. And we know that hormonal issues can also cause skin issues. And so if you're deficient in vitamin E, it can affect your hormones and definitely, cause premature aging and other issues. Multivitamins are good, but if you can get them from your food, that really is the ideal way to get it. Good example of foods that are high in vitamin A are like fish oil, cod liver oil, carrots. I'm a vegetarian, so I can't get it from fish oil. I can't get it from cod liver oil, but I can certainly get it from carrots and really any red, orange, or yellow vegetable. So that's a great source of it. Your vitamin E, your nuts and your seeds, wheat germ oil, unless you have an issue with wheat, olive oil, spinach, broccoli, kiwi, tomato, mango, lots of delicious things that you can eat that will nourish your skin. And boy, vitamin C, that's huge. There's so many foods that you can get vitamin C from.
Well, one thing I'm a visual person, so I like to think about, I don't know if a lot of women out there, but when you're cooking and you're, say, peeling or making fruit salads like apples, you can dip your apples in the vitamin C, right? And the vitamin
Right.
C keeps it from oxidizing. And so I believe that's the same way it works in the body. It helps get rid of some free radicals and it helps keep the body from basically rusting in a sense from that point of view.
That is absolutely true. That is right on the money. And I think too, being a visual person, I think it's great because when you're eating your food, you're looking at colors and the way colors go together. I mean, goodness, when you're cooking, just variety is the spice of life. So make sure that you get plenty of different colors in your food. I mean, they're appealing like that. And I really believe that Father made them appealing like that so that we would desire to put those things in our bodies and be healthy. So there's a lot to do, and eat raw because you're getting enzymes. I mean, I'm a raw foods teacher, and one of the things that we were talking about the other night in our class was, you're not, when you heat something, when you cook food, the vitamins are, getting cooked out. So if you can eat as many raw fruits and vegetables that you can possibly introduce into your diet, whether that's 35%, 50%, 75%, or, whatever you choose to do, it's going to make a huge difference as well because you will absorb these vitamins better. So that is something I feel like is important, you know, apples, oranges, carrots. I mean, anything, that you can stand that you like that's raw, eat it. It's going to help your skin. Um, your hair also needs certain vitamins, and these are mostly your B vitamins, as well as the ones that I've mentioned previously. Um, if you don't have good circulation, if your hair is dry, and brittle, chances are your circulatory system might be struggling. So you may need like vitamin B1, B2, they will help, increase circulation and allow oxygen into your red blood cells. Um, you know, the B vitamins are really, really important, not just for your skin, but also for your nervous system. And I think when women are starting to lose hair, a lot of times it's stress. But when you're stressed, you become deficient in your B vitamins. So that's really an important thing to make sure that you're getting plenty of.
Well, and something we're not even really touching on, and we don't have time for in this show, but when you're dealing with the raw foods and the
Hmm.
different colors of foods, we're also dealing with the frequency of energy that Father
Oh,
put in those
yes.
foods.
Absolutely. Life in, life out. I
Mhm.
like to say that. And if you're not putting living things in your body, then don't expect to have a lot of energy. I just had a gentleman today with skin issues coming in, and he works at a barbecue place, and all he eats is meat and no vegetables, and he's tired, and not having real healthy food and getting your vitamins and minerals in your body, it's going to affect you. Doesn't matter how young you are, it will. And this guy was a very young man, and that's just as sad. But we don't teach our children correctly in our society, and we don't encourage you know good healthy food, unfortunately, and it shows in people's skin and in their hair, the health of their hair. Also, minerals are very, very important. Silica and selenium are very important for elasticity. So if you find your skin's getting kind of thin and dry, and or even as a lot of older women will age, they will actually get tears in their skin. It gets so thin. They are not absorbing minerals, and minerals are really, really important to maintain skin elasticity. Zinc for people that might have acne. It controls oil production in your skin. You need zinc. Copper, very, very important. Um, these minerals are present in nuts and seeds and mushrooms, all sorts of food sources. Selenium, oats, garlic. Garlic is wonderful for your skin. Wheat germ comes up again, wheat bran, rye, Swiss chard, barley, mushrooms, oranges, turnips, grapes, carrots, corn, cabbage, the list goes on. Um, these foods contain the minerals that we need that are so crucial, not just to our looking good, our skin or our hair, but feeling good.
Right.
Because I think we're in our society focused entirely too much on our appearance, and we don't really give much concern about how we're feeling, when how we're feeling is really contributing to our appearance. So,
Right. So basically, you could be beautiful on the outside
mhm.
and be constipated
Yes.
and have really bad nerves and aches and pains and all kinds of things going on the inside, but you've doctored it all up on the outside. And then maybe you even have a bad attitude to go with it.
Yes. Yeah, that's I see
Especially if you
that
don't
one.
get your little coffee hit, you know?
Oh my goodness, isn't that the truth, And then you just get out your concealer and you pack it on, and then you put, like you're saying, you just kind of doctor it up to make the package look good, but you feel horrible. And
Yeah.
I see a lot of this with people. And the skin, a lot of times, you don't, the skin and hair is like, it'll hang on when you're young, but as you get older, these habits, bad habits will, catch up with you. Essential fatty acids also, I mean, you cannot say enough about EFAs. They're really, really important. They help repair your skin. They regulate the moisture and skin flexibility. Your body can't produce them, so you have to take them in. And I'm just a huge fan of flax personally. Flaxseed is wonderful. Chia seed even better.
Oh yeah, flax has light going on the inside of the body and reflects light on the outside when you wear it. So flax is a good one.
It's excellent, and you can grind it and put it in foods. I mean, I personally just like to chew flax myself. I don't need anything, anything with it, but grinding it is one. I'm sorry.
How about hemp? I just got some hemp hearts, and man,
Ah,
they're awesome.
in your omega-6 in particular, it's really excellent. The highest level of omega-3 is the chia, though. That particular one is the highest so far. I'm sure that they'll find something eventually that might be higher, but right now the chia is very high, and I love hemp. It's really good. It's not you get it hulled already, and you can put it on cereal or whatever you're eating, or just eat it by itself. I just like to eat it. It's so nutty. You can just eat it by the handfuls. Very good.
Awesome.
Now omega-6, which the hemp is really rich in, deficiency can cause, I mean, serious acne. And we see a lot of times if people start consuming omega-6, they will see some of that resolve, because that is definitely a deficiency in omega-6 when you see whiteheads, blackheads, other forms of acne. And our fish, if you can find a safe fish, that's fabulous, are also good sources. Spirulina, and your algae are excellent. Your evening primrose oil and black currant oil. Black currant oil is kind of all the rage right now. And they're finding a lot of good things about it. But if you find yourself having problems, there are some things that can help. What we usually recommend externally, besides internal, which I think can't be understated, internally, is to address it internally and not address it, or I'm sorry, to address it externally and not address the internal issues, is really unwise. But we have to give people what they want sometimes. So we can recommend things that you can do externally, like calendula, spot treat pimples, Google, taking Google tablets as a remedy for acne.
Hey, now wait a minute. You're saying Google. You're not talking about Google on the internet. Go back. Now that's a new one for me.
Google, it's a lot of times they combine it with red yeast rice, and I'm not a big red yeast rice fan, but you can get Google tablets to take in your supplement store, and they help get rid of inflammation. So when you have the acne that's real inflammatory, that's a real good one. Kind of takes the heat out of there. So that can
what is that? Is that an herb?
It's an herb. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's Guggul?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I hadn't heard that one before.
Yeah, Google, and it is usually combined with red yeast rice, and people use it also for for their heart, for their circulatory system. So a lot of times with high cholesterol, it helps get cholesterol down, because it's anti-inflammatory. Really, any anti-inflammatory herb is going to be helpful. Like turmeric is really good if you have inflammatory acne, where it's really red and hot. You can do something is quite excellent to cool the body if you have inflammation. It's really good. It's also very good for hormones. And hormones, if they're the issue, men can do saw palmetto, and a lot of times that will help, because it lowers that that bad form of testosterone that they don't need, that gets a little too high. The supplemento will bring that down. Um, and then unless of course they're on testosterone therapy, and then they need to avoid that. Vtex is fabulous. This herb, it's just such a big secret, but it's really amazing. I mean, it was very life-changing for me with my hormones, and I've been using it for about 10 years. It's also called chasteberry. It also goes by Agnus castus, I believe, and then it's also monk's pepper. But Vtex is the common name, Vitex, and that helps.
You say Vtex and I say Vitex.
Vitex, Vtex, potato.
But you're very right. I mean, that I talk about that a lot because it feeds the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland controls the other hormones. So even if you have thyroid or parathyroid or adrenal issues, you need to be nutritionally feeding that pituitary. And you're right on the money. That is excellent. I discovered it after my last child was born, and he was a preemie, and I had another daughter who was going through therapy every day, and a father dying, and I was going through some postpartum depression, and that is what I used with St. John's wort, and I've used it off and on all through the years, and it's an awesome thing. I just can't say enough about that.
Oh, I love that herb. That is the one that women with PMS, I will recommend in a heartbeat, because it's progesterogenic in nature. So it kind of, if there's excess xenoestrogens in the body, or, we all have too much estrogen because of what we're exposed to, it kind of quiets it. And it just it will regulate your cycle. If your cycle's all wacky, it's very helpful in that regard. And for your skin, of course, excellent for acne, for if it's due to hormonal issues. And sometimes that it can definitely be due to hormonal issues. I love that herb.
April, tell us, because a lot of people might not know, what are xenoestrogens?
Oh, xenoestrogens are chemicals that are they're hormone in nature. It's cellular. When you look at them, they look very similar to estrogen, but they're not. And the body gets very confused and absorb them, but they're dangerous. They're in plastics, they're in our air, they're on some of our foods. They're definitely petroleum products. A lot of times will mimic xenoestrogens. And we're absorbing them a lot. So it's no surprise that we have so much estrogen dominance. People think of estrogen as a really good thing, and when our bodies make it, it is a really good thing. But when we get too much of it, and it's not in how our bodies make it, it's a false estrogen, a xenoestrogen. It can wreak havoc on the body.
Now, isn't that also? I mean, basically, from what I understand, it has a lot to do with all these chemicals and sprays that women put on their hair and their skin and their face, and they clean their house with, and these xenoestrogens come from that. They just mess you all up.
Oh, they really do, and they are putting them in our cosmetics. They're putting them in creams. It's finding its way, and it's into our diets. It's in everything, and it's really quite frightening. And I feel like really truly the more simple that you keep things, you stay away from things like that, the better. And so I'll tell people, the only moisturizer I use is coconut oil, and it's the same one that I cook with.
Right. Absolutely.
So 1 to 2 ingredients, if you buy something and there's like a gazillion chemical names, there's probably some xenoestrogen activity in that, and it'll contribute to hormone issues with you. If you're already having problems, it'll make it even worse. I can't say.
And that's a problem with a lot of aromatherapy. Walmart and all these other big companies are picking up on it, and 99% of your aromatherapies out there are adulterated, which mess with the estrogen problems. And and it's just as simple as saving money and being healthier by using olive oil, like you said, coconut oil, grapeseed oil. I got some cranberry oil, some tomato or tamano. Is that how you say it? We call it floral.
Tamanu. Yeah, tamanu is wonderful.
And these are all just you can eat it, or you can put it on your skin and your face. And if I recall correctly, for those that are old enough to remember, I believe it was Sophia Loren, the famous actress, who that's supposedly exclusively what she used was olive oil on her skin.
Olive oil. Well, absolutely. She's Italian.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's olive oil. There is an interview with, I think it's a 16-year-old man that talks about that's what he does every day is put, besides, his diet being amazing, he puts olive oil on his skin, and you wouldn't know that he's above 80 looking at him. There's videos. I can't remember his name. It's a Spanish name, but anyway, he keeps his skin young with olive oil. And so, yeah, keep it simple. You do not spend $45 to $200 on these moisturizers and all these. I mean, I'm doing those companies a huge disservice, but you will really be better off both health wise and your skin if you just use something that Elohim already put in nature, that's natural for you, that your body recognizes, knows what to do with. It's not going to store it in your liver and not going to mess up your hormones. So you're just way better off. Coconut oil is my favorite. I do use olive oil sometimes too. Just love. I can't say enough about coconut oil. You can use it if you have acne. You can use it if you have really dry skin, and it doesn't matter as antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. So if you if you have acne, it's a good choice for a moisturizer.
All right, we need to take a commercial break, so we'll be right back. Please join us when we come back.
You're listening to Remnant Radio on the Messianic Lifestyle audio magazine broadcast, Lamb Radio.
Welcome back to the Remnant Radio Hour. This is Nitza with our host tonight is April Navoa, and she's sharing with us about skin and hair inside and out and how to be beautiful. And, April, I just wanted to mention, scripturally, olive oil is throughout the scriptures, and obviously Father picked it for his people for a reason.
Yes, I agree. Olive oil is amazing, and it is excellent for aging skin. It's good internally. I tell people though, don't heat olive oil. If you're going to eat it, you need to eat it in its natural state, because if you do, it becomes hydrogenated. Coconut oil does not, but definitely try to consume some of it in your meals. Make your salad dressings homemade, so you're getting good olive oil. I think it's important to consume it and it's wonderful as a moisturizer.
All right, you're going to talk about hair some more?
Yeah, let's get into hair a little bit. Now, black currant's kind of been the big rage right now, and it's reported that it causes the hair to become thicker. So if you have thinning hair, you can definitely use black currant oil. And if you have thinning hair, also please address your stress, because a lot of times hair will fall out when you're stressed out, or you've had some big kind of hormonal your change, like you've just had going into perimenopause or menopause. Sometimes that can cause hair thinning. So then you'd want to look at doing some herbs to address those hormonal issues again. Your hair loss or dandruff, if you can take ginkgo biloba, is actually quite excellent for these. Dandruff, is caused by clogged sebaceous glands and infections of the skin. And you can treat it with a topical herbal application to remove dead cells and promote growth. What you want to do is combine rosemary, peppermint, and sage, and please make these good quality oils. And we talked about that. We don't want to diss any particular food chain, but y'all know what we're talking about. Don't go down there and buy the cheap stuff. Spend money on your oils, because they're very potent when they're very pure. So that's important. You want to combine these oils with, a carrier. Olive would be good. Almonds, very good. And then you can massage that into your scalps two or three times a day, and that should help resolve dandruff and or thinning hair, or even infections in the scalp. That can be very helpful. An herb that contains a lot of silica, which is really important to your skin, is horsetail. So it kind of gives it away. A good healthy horsetail. That's what you'll get. That's what you'll get. And silica also helps create collagen, which is another important component of the skin. Now, kelp and your sea vegetables. I really encourage people to eat these. They, if it's a thyroid issue and your hair is thinning because of a thyroid issue, sea vegetables might be very helpful to you. They will help remineralize not only your body, but you can also use it on your skin. In a preparation, you can definitely do that, but eating it is a really good idea. Your hair will become thicker. It should become shinier when you're consuming sea vegetables. I want to talk a little bit about what to avoid. You want to avoid.
April, excuse me. Can we back up just a minute? Do you?
Sure.
You said Horsetail has silica, which of course it does. But what about the use of diatomaceous earth for silica?
Yeah, that diatomaceous earth is really good, and it absorbs toxins in the colon, and a lot of times poor skin problems, well, actually probably all the time, can be connected to to a toxic bowel. So definitely that is a very good treatment. Start slow with it because it does detox the body.
And what about making sure again there is a lesser grade out there versus a good grade, a food grade of diatomaceous earth,
yes,
like you use. So that's really important.
It is. Do your homework and make sure that you get a good quality product. I don't want to advertise any particular products, but do your research. There's plenty of information on the web, and make sure that you're getting high quality. And paying less is not always a good idea. So, I know things are tight for people, but you really do get what you pay for. Absolutely. So, to avoid, we want to avoid hot showers. I know. Well, if you're going to do a hot shower, try to just do it a couple times a week. But bathing is a lot better for your skin. The hot shower can really dry it out, and myself included, for those of us that have aging skin, it really does make a difference. So you want to bathe if you can. Avoid hot showers unless you just absolutely must have one. Say you worked out and you don't want to offend people and you really need one, then do what you got to do. But try to bathe more rather than do hot showers. It's not
is the issue more the shower, or is it more the hotness of the water?
The hot does open up the pores, and it draws out essential oils that are in the skin. And also the chlorine. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. There's a lot of chemicals and chlorine in the water too. And you do tend to spend a lot more time in a shower than you do a bath, unless you're doing it for enjoyment purposes. But if you're just getting clean, you don't really need to be in the bathtub for a real long time. Whereas a shower, hey, it feels good. You got that hot water going, and before you know it, 15, 20 minutes has passed. And that's a long time to be in the shower and have your skin being beaten with this hot water.
Now, this isn't the same as taking a detox bath.
No,
okay.
That's a little different. I mean, if like a sauna, I mean, that's a different, and of course, using clean water, which not all of us have. The chlorine is very damaging to the skin. Get the filter
on your shower head or your water, because I do a lot of detox baths for pesticides and radiation.
Sure, that's important, and if you've got a filter, you're way better off. Absolutely. Dry skin brushing is really good. It affects the lymphatic system. It helps your body get rid of toxins, gets rid of your dead skin cells. It's amazing. That's a really good practice. I try to be consistent about it, but I forget a lot. But it really does energize you. It's an excellent, and it gets you have those dead skin cells. It blocks nutrients getting to the skin. Your skin is super absorbent. When people don't realize that. I mean, if if you use bioidentical hormones, you understand how absorbent your skin is. If you do anything that affects you hormonally, some people are on medications that they use on their skin, and it absorbs through their skin. Your skin is like your mouth. It's the second most absorbent surface on your body, and skin brushing is you need oxygen to get into your body, and that's one way your body gets oxygen and other nutrients. So skin brushing is excellent because it kind of improves the conduit so things can get in there. If you're going to use cosmetics, Look for vegan cosmetics. I really, when I came into my Hebrew roots, one of the biggest challenges that I had, and I don't really use much in the way of cosmetics, but was finding things that didn't have pork in them. Yeah, like your lipstick, guys. Oh, that was a horrible realization. That was that old saying, putting lipstick on a pig. It was like, oh my gosh, we're running around with pigs on our lips, and your mascara with, bat guano and all these things that they put.
Poop.
Oh man.
So what part of the pig are they using? I mean, what is the purpose of it in the lipstick?
Well, I think it's an emulsifier. I think I think
that's
fat. It's the fat.
Lard. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
There's a million different uses for this stuff, and that is one of them. And that's just gross. It's unclean. It's just nasty.
Okay.
So I, my opinion, but I'm sure that most of our listeners probably agree. Considering.
So really, if you use lipstick with pig fat in it or pig parts, your husband or spouse is going to kiss a pig.
Yep, pretty much. Part of it anyway. It's pretty nasty. So you need to look for vegan cosmetics.
All right.
Yeah. If you need to look for something
vegetable, plant.
Right. No animal ingredients. You're absorbing this too. I mean, that's something to really think about. The toxins that are in that animal and its fat are going into your body. And it's interesting because before I came into Torah, I used to use a particular brand of mascara and I became allergic to it. Well, now that I know that what was in that mascara, I know why.
Right.
Certain things do not belong on our eyes or our skin, and my body was being, intelligently telling me that, you know what, you don't need to be wearing this. And
well, something to point out here too, and it's been a while, but I did some training years ago on a lady who used to be a hairdresser and discovered all this stuff that you're talking about, totally changed her life and started this foundation. But the thing is she explained that there's really no governing authority or check on all of this because the government or the FDA has basically let them check themselves. So baby products, cosmetic household products are not governed to make sure, things are safe. And of course, now today we have the further problem of, well, they're probably not really looking after our safety anyway. But what they promote it as, and this is kind of where people fall for this, especially is, oh, we didn't test it on any animals.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you didn't test it on an animal and it's a chemical or something unclean, I want to know what it did to the animal before you're putting it on me.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are the guinea pig. I mean, they don't really care. They don't care. It's all about the almighty dollar. And so there's not a whole lot of concern for people, in regards to making sure that their makeups or their cosmetics or their moisturizers or any of that are healthy or safe. And that's very sad. There are some chemicals, and I'm going to try to pronounce them. I might not do a very good job. So if I can't pronounce them, I'm going to spell them to avoid. One is called Alkyl Oxylates, okay, and that is spelled ALKYLPHENOL. Second word ETHOXYLATES, and this particular one's found to reduce sperm count, and that's kind of scary. And you've seen this one before, benzene. I think pretty much. Yeah, that's that one. Benzene, benzoic acid, benzyl. It's in a lot of acne things. That one's considered a carcinogenic. It's an endocrine disruptor, and it is suspected to cause birth defects. I mean, this is stuff that's in your products. Coal tar, known as a human carcinogen. It's in the Europe has figured this out. They don't allow it in their their things. I mean, it's found in dandruff shampoos, anti-itch creams, hair dyes. Please be careful with hair dyes. Don't do hair dyes. There's just so much.
Isn't coal tar in cigarettes?
Yeah. Yep. And if it comes in contact with the skin, it's known to be carcinogenic. So methyl propyl butyl and ethyl paraben, the parabens, uh, they're used as inhibitors of microbial growth and to extend the shelf life of things. And a lot of people are having allergic reactions and rashes. And like we talked about before, these are xenoestrogens. These can be absorbed in the body through the skin and can really mess with your hormones. They're widely used. You will find this on everything. These particular chemicals, even though they're known to be toxic, dibutyl, I don't know, phthate. It's PHTA. See, if you can't methylate, there you go. If you can't read it, do not consume it. Do not put it on your body. There's something wrong. Again, Europe says no, don't use it. It can cause a lot of these cause reproductive problems. Do you notice the amount of infertility? It's unbelievable.
Yes.
And it's just people are infertile and can't conceive, and a lot of it could be what they're putting on their skin.
Yeah. Well, let's take another commercial break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
You're listening to Remnant Radio on the Messianic Lifestyle audio magazine broadcast, Lamb Radio.
Welcome back to Remnant Radio. This is Nitza with April Novoa tonight, speaking with us about the chemicals that we're putting on our face or in our bodies through our skin.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot. I mean, there's the DEA, the TEA. We talked a little bit about the propylene glycol. Wow, it can cause liver and heart damage and the central nervous system. It's scary stuff. And there's the isopropyl alcohol can cause dizziness, headaches, and nausea. I think about all the people that I see on a daily basis, and maybe you talk to some people too. That are having all these unknown health issues and no one can seem to get to the bottom of it. I think one of the first places to look would be, what are you putting on your skin? What's getting absorbed into your body? I think that's really important. Fragrances, formaldehyde, the hair dye, there are natural alternatives to using over-the-counter hair dyes. You can find them in health food stores. And even that, though, you still need to look and read labels. You need to understand because you've got that on your head for 25 to 30 minutes. And I remember, before I knew a lot of these things, I would do it and it would burn. And I thought, well, this certainly can't be good. But we do things to ourselves. If something causes us pain, it might, be a good sign that there's something really wrong there, Yeah.
Well, he gave us that pain reaction for a reason.
Yeah, I know. It's incredible the things that women will go through in the name of vanity. I remember my husband for years, used to tell me, you don't need makeup. You look, I really don't think that we need to, cover ourselves up as much as we think we do. And if we stop doing it as much, how much would our skin improve? I think we a lot of times cause a lot of our problems by how much we're, caking on, you know what I mean? And not to be insulting.
One thing I just want to say that, fortunately, a lot of us do have husbands like that, but unfortunately, many women do not.
That's true.
And, therein, the way my husband puts it is that when men look, even we're not even talking pornography, but when they start comparing what beauty is and what they're feeding themselves with, they get this idea of what beauty is, and then they put that off on their wives, and the wives are trying to please that, and all along, it could be causing your wife to have breast cancer or die of some disease that, you indirectly had some consequences putting forth to that. And of course, as mothers, we could do the same thing to our daughters. And so we really need to rethink what is Father Yahweh's prescription for beauty for us.
I agree. I think there's just entirely, our culture is just set up to be degrading really to women and to make them degrade themselves. And that's so disturbing to me. And I don't you know, in men that, you know, propagate such a, you know, a myth, or, you know, or make their wives think that that's what they need to be, I think that's really sad. That's not love, you know, and that's, and I think the way that Father made us is beautiful. And, you know, not in a vain kind of way, but just in a real, you know, natural, loving kind of way. You know, we need to really examine what we consider to be beautiful and not compare ourselves with the world. And there's just far too much of that. You know, we're trying to be set apart and be separate. And I'm not saying, you know, don't ever wear a little cover up or makeup or whatever. If you feel like you need to cover something, that, you know, a scar or acne or whatever it is, just use something very natural, and don't try to make yourself look like, you know, unrecognizable. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
I can think of, you know, televangelists years ago that just made me so sad because
Years ago?
years ago, yeah, now, well,
Still?
one, you know, one in particular that passed away, and she was very sick when she died, and I remember just feeling so sad for her because, um, you know, her idea of what was beautiful was not her,
Right.
you know, and to me that's just that's really tragic, and you know.
You know, and I actually want to do an article or show on this. And I don't know, we could get in trouble, but I'll try not to mention any names. But you know, all the tabloids when you're checking out at the grocery store,
Yes.
and you see all these beautiful movie stars and the women, and even the men. And
Yeah.
it's like, I have this thing like, if one particular lady, if, you know, if she has a problem keeping a boyfriend or a husband, and I mean, it doesn't take much of a brain to figure out that it doesn't help to be rich, it doesn't help to be beautiful. All of these people are still looking for love in all the wrong places. And
Yes.
it is, you don't want to be rich and you don't want to be beautiful and you don't want to be famous if you got half a brain, because it doesn't work. And that is not what attracts and keeps love in a relationship.
No, not real love anyway. And I think that's really the key, is that, you know, love that doesn't come, that isn't, is, you know, if we don't have right relationship with the Father and we don't receive his love, we can't love. Not in a pure sense. Though, you know, we can lust, and I you know, I think that's kind of more along the lines of what goes on in Hollywood and in the world, is it's not love, it's actually lust, and love is something totally different. And you know, again, if you're not, you know, connected with the Father and receiving love from him, there is no possible way that you can love another person, not in what love really is, in a pure way. And it will be superficial, and it will be very surfacey, and it will be about what you look like. You know, if you get to be a certain age, you might get traded in for a newer model. I mean, you know, it's just, but this is the way the world works. And, you know, we have to ask ourselves as believers in Messiah, do we want to do things the world's way, or do we want to do things his way? And then we need to find out what is his way. And as far as what you put on your skin or on your hair or in your body, you know, you can't improve on what Father's already done. You can't, you know, man, and I love what Brad Scott says. He says, man does not create, he either restores or destroys.
Mm.
Okay, so there isn't any way, there's nothing that you can do to improve on what Father has already done. What's in nature, what he's provided for us, is perfect, for us. And it's what we need to be concentrating on, consuming into our bodies. And, you know, we do need to take care of ourselves. I think it's nice to look attractive, but to be vain and to look fake or plastic, or, you know, or try to compete, or to feel so insecure that you've got to look a certain way to keep, you know, a husband or boyfriend or whatever that is. That's just, to me, very, very sad. You're not being genuinely who you are.
That's very true. So,
Yeah.
what other nasty things are we putting on ourselves here?
Well, we did talk a little bit about petroleum. I remember growing up, petroleum jelly.
Right.
you know,
Absolutely a no-no.
yeah, definitely a no-no. It's incredibly cheap. They put it in lots and lots of things because of its emollient property, just like the pig fat. Um, it has no nutrient value for the skin, and it can interfere with your body's own moisturizing mechanisms. So here's the trick: the more you use, guess what? The more you need. It actually dries out your skin, and that's
Which
kind of
again, you know, what that does is it surrounds the cells in the body so good things can't go in and out.
that's right.
And one thing I've noticed, and this is even in the health stores, health products, for instance, there's an herbal combination that you can take or people apply for, say, removing tumors or
Mm-hmm.
skin cancer. And the
Yes.
instructions include using petroleum jelly. And that's like a
Oh,
huge no-no.
it's a
No,
big no.
make some fresh salve, with some beeswax and coconut oil and
Mm-hmm.
or olive oil or something else. Of course, I've used essential oils with them also for the antibacterial properties and the
Yes.
restoring properties. But sometimes, especially even in the alternative health field, there's a mixture of information here.
Yes,
And
I
you
agree.
really need to know so that you can filter them out.
You have to be educated and you have to be a good steward of your own body. We have an excellent staff and people in our shop, kind of know what's good and what's not. But do not take our word for it. Do your homework. You come in, you're looking at things you don't oftentimes know. And sometimes, we may not know that there's something on the shelf that's, until we take a good look at it and go, wow, this doesn't belong here. You
Right.
have to be a good steward and you have to pay attention to the labels. And that goes for health food stores, anywhere you go. You need to pay attention. I mean, I think really touches overall health, is that our refusal to be good stewards of our own bodies and what we eat and what we drink and what we put on our skin and what we watch, what we see, what we do. And this is what Father wants us to get away from. He wants us to take responsibility and understand what we're doing. And I think that's very important. Petroleum is a bad guy. You want to avoid that. Sodium lauryl sulfate is a very inexpensive, harsh detergent that you'll find in a lot of probably most shampoos, really.
Right.
And it's made from petroleum. It's disguised as a pseudo-natural cosmetic, and it will oftentimes come with the phrase "comes from coconuts," like that's supposed to make it better. Um,
Right.
but it's not. It causes eye irritation. There was a study many years ago where rats were actually going blind when they were testing it on them.
Oh.
Scalps, similar issues, similar to dandruff, skin rashes, other allergic reactions. Really scary stuff. There's aluminum compounds, one called, stera alkylinoium chloride, and an ammonium compound. You want to avoid things like this. They use it in a lot of hair conditioning formulas. Okay, and it can cause allergic reaction. Anything synthetic, your synthetic colors. To make something look attractive, they'll put synthetic colors. They'll be labeled as FDNC or DC, and they'll sometimes, if they have a number, red number 6, green number 6. Many of these synthetic colors are carcinogenic. We have a high skin cancer rate. Is it the sun, really? Or is it maybe some of the things we're putting on our skin? Which certainly doesn't help that we're putting these things on our skin.
Right.
In fact,
some people are drinking them too.
yeah. Oh yeah, these are in all sorts
M&M.
of M&Ms, dyes used in candies.
Yeah. Gatorade drink like that.
Gatorade. The synthetic fragrances. Some of these fragrances, it'll say fragrance, but there's over 200 ingredients in that fragrance. And you will not know what this fragrance is because it will simply read fragrance on the label. You can get headaches, dizziness, rash, hyperpigmentation. All of a sudden you have dark spots on you, violent coughing, vomiting, skin irritation. I mean, the list, it goes on and on. don't buy a cosmetic that has the word fragrance on the label. I mean, why do you need your lipstick to smell good anyway? Or are you gonna, it's bizarre. Some of the things, it's like, it doesn't even make any sense, if you want to smell good, use some essential oils, but do
Or
not
make your own salve and put peppermint on it, or
that's right,
lemon or citrus, and get the pure stuff.
Absolutely.
What about aerosols, April?
Well, aerosols are very bad. They're very bad. We inhale them. The little, that goes inside of your lungs. It's absorbed through your skin and in your lungs. Again, carcinogenic, cause damage to the lungs and the circulatory system. You want to avoid it. And of course, we've got an aerosols being sprayed in our air all the time.
Besides
we could do another hour on that. I don't know if we want to go into that, but
I noticed, I got rid of aerosol cans years ago, and boy, if someone brings one into the house and sprays it, I am snooping them down because I smell it instantly. It goes right to my head, gives me a headache. And I know some products now are more available that give you an alternative with a pump, even, may not be still good for you, but it would be better than spraying it in the air.
Absolutely. Avoid aerosols. They're bad for us. They're bad for the environment. I mean, more really for us. I mean, if we're breathing that, so very bad stuff. Urea, formaldehyde, lead, all these things you're going to be, if you could just spend an evening pulling out all your cosmetics and your shampoos and your creams and just take a look at what's in there. Pay attention. It's very simple. Go down to your health food store and buy for $7-8 some coconut oil. Boom, there you go. You can toss that free $5 moisturizer in the trash. You're going to get better results, and it'll be better for you to do something simple. Best advice in the world: use only what Father makes.
Amen. So you can save money and save your health by getting rid of a lot of these things and understanding that a lot of them we just don't need, or we can find a healthy alternative.
Absolutely.
April, you have wonderful notes for this show tonight, and do you want them to email you for this information, or they could email me, however you want to do that?
If you'd like this list, yes, I can get it to you. Email me at Aviva, that's AVIVA, Novoa, N-O-V, like Victor, O-A, @gmail.com, and I'll be very, very happy to send you these notes so that you can print these out, and when you go shopping, you can look and see if any of these chemicals are in what you might have been buying or considering to buy. I'd be very happy to do that for you.
Well, thank you. That was a great overview of all these things that people need to be paying attention to.
You're very welcome.
Well, thank you. We're going to be signing out, but before that, let's see. Next week's show is, I was scheduled, but I think Posey Salem is going to be continuing the praise and worship. And so, because I'll be getting ready to go on the road, and so she's probably going to be on the show next week. So I hope that y'all come back and join us again, and thank you, and bless you all. Shalom.
Shalom.
Rise up, my bride, don't you know? On your heels are the days of war.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.
Thank you for your generous donations to Messianic Lamb Radio. You will be blessed, as promised in Proverbs 22, verse 9. These donations enable listeners from around the world to hear words of hope in teachings and in songs. Toda Rabbah.
You're listening to Messianic Lamb Radio.
What does it mean to you to live life Torah style?
I have been blessed beyond measure to be able to walk in my Creator's instructions. That through His grace, He gave me the ability to understand His word, His will for my life, and not as man has presented it, but as He has presented it through His Word, through His Holy Spirit. It's a richness, it's a depth that I never had in 32 years in the Baptist church. I never experienced it. But when I walk in Torah, I have that relationship, that intimate relationship with Yahweh as His bride.